right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the other apostles and other bishops of Great Millstone who very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akim and her pushing this gospel, truth and sincerity to the best of their ability given to them by Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad, may the election of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, fall upon all your houses. So Brother Quater Watts from the Arizona Great Millstone camp come back at you, Lord will, with the edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord will. It is edifying, Lord will, just straight to the point. And, I came across this article earlier, as it says right here on MSN.com, it says the Pentagon's about to start using XAI's GROK and other federal agencies could be next, right? Which is heavy, this is a heavy move, right, by Esau Edom, man, using AI, right, within their, within the government, man. It's going to ultimately allow him, to do things, a little differently than the way he's been doing them now, right? It says Elon Musk XAI announced GROK for government on Monday, right? It says the company signed a contract with the Department of Defense for up to $200 million. The service will also be made available to other federal agencies, federal government agencies, and I'm not going to get into the, rest of this article. I pull it up on, Chat GPT. It just asks this question. It says, how will the DOD use GROK and how will it directly affect the average consumer? Right? It says that's a great and very timely question. Right? Let's unpack it clearly. Right? It says, what is GROK? Right? You might be referring to GROK as a large language model system, the one from XAI, Elon Musk's company, or more generally to GROK-like advanced AI models used for large-scale data analysis, decision support, and intelligence processing. Right? So gathering up data. Right? There was a movie. Right? I had used basically a clip of the movie, of the trailer. It's called The Circle, right? It has, the female from Harry Potter, Hermione, I think her name was in the movie, but it has her as one of the main characters, man. And basically what it was is an AI system, right, that was being used, right, within the government to find criminals, right, to find, people who have a history of, any kind of violence, and if they might have escaped, right? Said that they can find them, right? Using what? Right? Using different cameras, right? Cell phone cameras, TV cameras, right? Any kind of electronic device, where it be speaker, camera, whatever it may be, right? To find individuals. And see, this is the same system, right, being set up, right? And again, it's going to allow for them to process information, a lot faster, a lot more accurate, right? It says, in the Department of Defense context, GROK would be used to mean highly advanced AI systems capable of understanding and analyzing huge amounts of data rapidly, right? Just flipping through it, right? Scanning through it, boom, 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 faster than a human can. Again, we've seen it in that same movie, right? It says, including surveillance, right? Using cameras, whatnot. It says threat detection, logistics, and more. Right, and when we go into, back into this article, right, it says Elon Musk's XAI is launching a new government-facing system or service. Its first client happens to be the largest employer on Earth, right? So the Department of Defense will pay up to $200 million for GROK for government, a new collection of AI products geared toward use by federal, local, and state governments. Drop down a little bit. Where's this? Oh, right here. It says the adoption of AI is transforming the department's ability to support our warfighters and maintain strategic advantage over our adversaries, right? Which we know as of now, Trump, right, since the beginning, right, he, when he had that meeting and it was recorded, right, with that meeting with the, the president of El Salvador, he was talking about we have, those that are homeborn criminals, right? So Trump has, he's focusing right, his attention internally, right? And this is why they need those things, right? Because and we already starting to see, right, it's starting to be used on a certain level, right? They're, nabbing up these immigrants and whatnot and putting these bracelets on them, right? And then, they're running over to people's cars and not even having to, have them pull out their ID or fingerprint them. They're using facial scanners, right? So this system is already, to a certain degree up and running, right? But now they're putting it into, into law, if you will, right? Into policy, that they're going to be using AI, and that's going to take them again into a whole nother level, which is going to allow for, them to make it, right, to where people are going to have to be, connected to the system, right, in order to participate in society. And that goes back to the elder Tazabaz video that he did, going in on it's right here, yeah, right, going in on this video. This woman ultimately talking about, crypto week. Yeah, I gotta try to find it. Right, crypto week. There was a right here.
Installing the grid, Congress.
Boom. We'll pause it, right? It says press release, right? It says press release. It says today's House Committee or Financial Service Chairman French Hill, Arkansas, right? House Committee of Agriculture Chairman G.T. Thompson, PA 5, Pennsylvania 15. And House leadership announced that the week of July 14th will be Crypto Week, man. And then it goes into the Clarity Act, other things. And again, proving that we're in the time where Esau is going to, put the people in a position, right, to need this charagma, right? They're going to need to have this RFID micro C-hip, right, the little rice grain, as well as the, the brain C-hip, in order to participate in society. And we're seeing even that, right, being, instituted around different hospitals, right? One in Florida, right? You got the doctors basically teaming with Neuralink, right? Elon Musk's Neuralink, and putting the C-hips in people's heads. So it's already happening, right? It's already happening, right? They're already putting, this technology out there and setting up the different legislation and getting ready, right, for that push, that final push. And again, this is the Elder Tazabaz video, out here in, GMS, Phoenix, Arizona. Subscribe to his page, right, and be edified, but yeah, right, against their adversaries, right? And then when you're reading the next sentence, it says XAI said its government-facing products would include models designed specifically for national security purposes and eventually for use in classified environments. Right, man? Right? Talking about national security. What about all the rest of these different nations that came across that it's been put out in video after video after video that these are UN members, right? And that they're ultimately given orders that when, everything is, ready, that they're to ultimately take up arms, man. They ain't focused on them. They're only focused on the Israelites, right? The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Let's go back to this, right? This ChatGPT says, how would the DoD use such AI systems? It says the DoD has already been working to integrate large AI systems under initiatives like Project Maven AI to analyze drone and surveillance footage, which they've been using a shit ton of drones right now. Military, conflict, right, is done by drones and cruise missiles and whatnot. There's no actual people, fighting unless it's like special forces, man, or, hardly is it, hand to hand, right? Now it's just, drones and shit, right? It says JAIC, Joint Artificial Intelligence Center, deploy AI to improve decision-making, cybersecurity, maintenance, etc., right? Autonomous targeting and battlefield analysis, faster enemy detection and response. So they're already, and these are all different kinds of things, right? Can use the information that the drones are, flying around, receiving and looking at and whatnot, right? And then they got the next, right, initiative, right, which will, improve the decision making, right? Who's going to be a criminal, who's not, who is committing a crime and who's not, you know. And then you got the next one, right? Faster detection of and response. So it's able to flip through that data faster and be able to, basically, make those predictions. So it's coming in stages, right? The projects come in stages, right? On what they're able to do. Okay, let's test this. Okay, let's test this, and you seeing it, being put to work, right? They've ultimately finished, right? Their little tests, right? Their trial runs, Now they're ready to use it, right? It says a GROK-like system would be used for real-time analysis of satellite, drone, and intelligence data. Predictive maintenance for military equipment. It says cyber defense, detecting attacks faster than human analysis. Rapid decision support to commanders. Automated threat and misinformation detection, right? So there you go. Misinformation detection. That's a big one right there, right? Misinformation detection. And we understand that, those who spread, right, according to Esau, man, those who spread misinformation are ultimately, domestic teas, man. You're against the system, and we're seeing that Esau is attacking, those, who are in dissent, right, with his system, right, those who are against his system, right, which would be us, man, right. This is why we, I made a statement in the beginning that this is going to be used, right, for persecution of the men of the Lord, man. Right, Esau is ready to use his guns. He's ready to move on and use his weapons, right? But at the same time, he's ready to he's setting up his legislation, right, that will ultimately allow for him to do that. We're in these times, man. Revelations 13 and verse 16. Let's grab that real quick, man. This is Revelation 13 and verse 16. It says, and he causeth all, right? When you go into that word cause, it goes back to force or to make, right? It says all, right? Both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. So anybody out here on the streets, right? Anybody, the average consumer, right? From the top class to the middle class, right? Is going to have to take this charagma. You're going to have to be a part of, this system in order to participate in society. You want to buy coffee, you want to buy a car, you want to buy a home, right? You want to just go and spend money on, a regular outing. You want to buy anything, right? You're going to have the charagma, the RFID micro C hit, man. And it says right here, it says to receive a MARK in their right hand or in their foreheads, which again, they got the rice grain as well as the brain C hit, Verse 17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the MARK or the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? So you're going to have to be a part of this system via, the charagma in order to buy or sell, right? And all those who don't, right? Again, it says what? What does it say? Come on now. There we go. Right? It says at the very bottom, it says automated threats and misinformation detection. Right, so anybody who is against their system, right, that speaks against them, right, is going to be, again, excommunicated from society, right, and or actually physical kill. Because as you read in verse 15, you jump up one verse, Revelations 13 and 15, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So those who, again, are against the society and are spreading, in a sense, awareness, right, of where this society is heading, right, via prophecy, via scriptures, right, is going to be, ultimately, killed, man, right, which is where we, read in Revelations 20 and 4, right, that blessed are those that were beheaded, right, for the testimony in the name of Yahweh Bashim and Shah, because Esau is going to nab up some, Esau is going to come in quick, man, The elder made the beautiful statement, man. We this might not last another few months, man. We might, be out of here by December. Lord will, man. That's just us, us speaking in hope, man. Hope and faith, that can happen soon based off of what we're seeing. But, it very well could happen, man. Right? These are the times that we're in where Esau is going to come in, right, like a flood and come and gather, up the men of the Lord, right? 2 Ezra 16 and verse, 70. It says, for there shall be in every city, right? It says, and there shall be in every place, and in the next cities, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, right? Esau coming after the Israelites already, You know, we're in the time of 2nd Esdras 15, 2nd Esdras 16, Revelation 13, right? We're in the time of these prophecies coming to pass. Jeremiah 30 and verse 7, Daniel's 12 and 1. You know, it says they should be like madmen sparing none, meaning everybody's going to be put down if you're against the system, man. You know, it says, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses, snatching people up, man. Right? We already seen him do that, right? Going up to people's works, you know, going up to people's jobs, going up to, you know, family events, you know, school events, actual, you know, immigration court, this and that. Man, anywhere, man. They snatching people up at the mall. You know, the home is just next. The actual home is just next. You know? We in these times, man. Right? And again, he's going to cast, you know, some of us into prison. Revelation's the 2nd chapter, man. Right? But the scriptures say to fear not. Right? Fear none of those things, man. Right? If that be our lot to be, you know, put into these FEMA camps, put into the prisons. Right? They got the alligator Alcatraz, and they talking about bear Alcatraz out there in Alaska. You know? Which I don't know how true that is. I haven't heard anything, you know, on that. But, you know, you got them setting up these different, you know, prison houses, man. And they're in the worst conditions. What do you think Esau's setting them up for? Who do you think Esau's setting them up for, man? The Israelites. That's who's in these, you know, in alligator Alcatraz, man. The Israelites, the northern tribes, man. You know? But see, again, right, the scriptures are, you know, written to the elect of the nation of Israel, man. Those who truly believe and trust in Yahweh Bashim Shai. That's why it says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Right? You have tribulation 10 days, which is the number of completion. Right? Could be any number of days, but remain faithful. Right? And the Lord shall give thee a crown of life, man. Right? Which brings me back to this verse, verse 73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire, man. Because Yahweh Bashim Shai is going to make sure whether we die or whether we escape this damn devil's hands, man, we're going to be satisfied, man. The Lord's going to take care of us. You know, it's written all throughout the scriptures, man. All throughout the scriptures. You know? And they're going to know that they fuck with the wrong people, man. They fuck with the chosen of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Right? We're in some heavy times, man. Esau is moving fast as shit. Right? Scriptures, Revelation 12 and 12, he's coming down, right? Having great wrath because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. We're in these times, man. You know, let me grab one more precept, man, and we'll get out of here. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3, just hitting the point. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. And again, we read it, right? Everything it's speaking, right? Esau in this digital system, right? Being put into place, man, right? It says, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. We're here, man. You know, we're here in these times, man. So it prepares spiritually for what's about to embark, you know, for what we're about to embark on, you know. It's going to be a rough path, man. Lord will be of their number, man, but we're good, you know. Lord will we of their number, we good, man. We ain't got nothing to worry about, you know. So with that, Lord wills that to find, Lord will straight to the point. I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachak, Kodash, double honor to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, the great millstone. Till next time I say shalom.